All right, the Reds, it is Talking Reds. Talking Reds with me, Gareth Roberts, and I'm joined by Belinder Bhati, also known as Bubbles, from the Goal Diggers podcast. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're talking, first of all, then, about seen a piece this morning in The Guardian. Feel a little bit like we're being trolled this morning because Jonathan Liu is saying in The Guardian there's no enjoyment in Liverpool anymore, that it's sapped out of everyone. The manager, the owners, the players, they're not all enjoying themselves anymore, and it's officially become graft to be Liverpool. This is very much a test, of course, of whether you are glass half full or glass half empty right now, because Liverpool's results have not been the best. We all know that. But how are you feeling about the situation currently? Are you hopeful that we can bounce back and be great again, or you're a bit worried that it goes the other way?
Yeah, do you know what? I think I have to be hopeful. We're all living in lockdown. Football is really all I kind of have at the moment. So if I'm all doom and gloom, it's just not going to end well for me. So I have to be positive. I have to think that every game now is at least an opportunity to bounce back. And sooner or later, they're going to take it. This group of players are going to take it. We know how good they can be. We know they've got the mentality in them. It's just about when it will be. And listen, it's not been the last three games. I really wanted it to be Man United in the league game.
Same.
It wasn't. So listen, let's go Thursday, Spurs. It's away, and we know we're not too great away from home this season, but it's an opportunity. That's how you got to look at it.
I like it. I like the positivity. I mean, there's some absolutely random reports out today. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it just feels like the wrong time. It's saying about an advantage about getting Kylian Mbappe, and I'm a bit like, oh. And then at the same time, there's these Deloitte reports kicking around saying about how well Liverpool are doing financially. And all of it seems to be conspiring to wreck my head because we can't get, like, if we're so good then, and if we can get Mbappe and if we've got money, can we just buy a centre half? Surely there's a centre half in the world that'll come to Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I even think back to the reports from a week or so ago saying we offered David Alaba £12 million for a pre-contract agreement, and I'm just thinking, well, if the money's there for next summer, then why isn't it here now? Surely there's a 5 million loan fee for, I don't know. I want Milichao, but I don't even know if he's fully available. Just anyone, a body will do because we're in
Yeah.
a crisis situation. If you want,
Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? And it just feels like, it's hard work right now being a Liverpool fan. You can sound a bit cry-ass, of course, because we are, of course, champions, and it's not so long back that we were winning the European Cup and all the rest of it. It is Spurs next up, as you said. I was looking at the odds this morning, and it feels very much like the bookies don't know which way this is going to go. And I'm with them on that. So Liverpool are 6-5, Tottenham 11-5, and the draw's 13-5. That feels like very much like they've all sat in the office going, God knows how this goes. As you mentioned, Liverpool's away form as well. It's only 2 wins out of 9 on the road in the Premier League, which is quite horrendous. There are some circumstances around that, but the longer it goes on, it does feel a little bit like you're clutching at straws. Equally, though, other hand, positive hand, I did say it was glass half full, glass half empty, is we have got a very good record against Spurs. So I was looking at that earlier, and obviously we beat them in December. We beat them just over a month ago at Anfield. And so we used to playing them. We know what they're going to do. We know how they're going to line up. It's Mourinho anyway. We should know that anyway. Before that, this time, sort of last year-ish, we were winning 1-0 at Tottenham. And you can go back, I think we've won the last 5 in the row, including, of course, in the European Cup final. So it's interesting, though, this one, isn't it? Like, I feel as though this will be bigged up the closer we get to it, because Tottenham not long ago were, not favourites, but certainly being tipped as being in contention for the league. We obviously started as favourites at the start of the season because we'd won it before. We've slipped to like third favourites now. I think we're about 8-1. Tottenham are about 20-1 now. It feels like whoever wins this one, if indeed there is a winner, everyone suddenly gets really positive about them again. So that for that reason alone, it should be a good one. Well, it is a good one for Liverpool to win, isn't it?
yeah. And I think what you were mentioning earlier about the odds, no one knows which way it's going. It's exactly like the season is. No one knows who's
Yeah.
going to win this league. No, every week there's a mad result. You don't know anymore. And we could lose to Spurs, and we could go on a great winning run, or we could win against Spurs and still go and lose the next game against another deep block team. Like, it's just about how we set up. I mean, I slightly worry that even though we know how Mourinho is going to set up, does that mean we can match against it? Because let's be honest, we're defensively struggling at the moment a little bit, especially with that ball over the top. And they did that perfectly in the home game not so long ago with Son and Kane running in behind. So, like I said, we know how they're going to play, but whether we'll be able to keep them out is another question, I think.
Well, Matip, it looks like at this point, fingers crossed, praying to whoever you want to pray to. It looks like he's going to be playing, and that's why he didn't play at the weekend. That alone is something maybe not to get excited about, but something to be reassured about, isn't it? Because the difference he makes to the side, as we saw at the weekend, and this is not to throw Reece under the bus, I'm not into that at all. But having Matip in the side is a huge difference for us, isn't it?
Yeah, I think on his day, we all know how world class Matip can be, even. And the problem is reliability. Can we rely on him? I'm at the point now where I'm slightly losing hope in if we can rely on him, because similar to I was mentioning earlier about the results can go anyway. Matip can go anyway. Matip can be fit this week and be out again for however many games. So let's just use him while we've got him, try and get the results that we need. I think that even with Matip, though, I'm slightly worried that we're pushing our fullbacks up quite a lot more. I don't know if anyone else maybe agrees with that. And it's sort
Trent
of like
went mad at the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And he's not in the best of form at the moment, which is disappointing. But again, he'll get back there, I don't doubt. But it's sort of just like we're sitting with our keeper, our two centre backs, and Thiago. Everyone else get up and try and score because we're so bad for goals at the moment.
Would you like to see something different? Because, I take Jonathan's point that maybe a bit of happiness, enjoyment, etc. has gone out of proceedings currently. But equally, though, I see other people saying, does Klopp need to do something different here? Now, quite what that is, I don't know, but I see a lot of people saying it. We're back to the old plan B and all that kind of gear. And it's like, well, plan A worked for a long time, And also, I don't know, I mean, do you want to see a different system? And is the first question, and question two to follow it is, and if you do, is Spurs away the right time to introduce it?
Well, that's what I was just about to say. I don't know if Spurs away is that, because for me, my opinion on it is, as long as you have Fabinho in your defence, you miss him in midfield. And just being able to play Fabinho as the 6, push Thiago 5-10 yards more up the pitch, and you can utilise he's a gifted footballer. And I don't feel like we're using him in the best role we can, because don't get me wrong, he can be a world-class 6, solo 6 if you want. But just having him in and around the edge of the box, he can pick out a pass, he can create something on his own. With Salah and Mane running in, he'll create chances, and it just, that's the one thing that's currently frustrating me at the moment. I don't think maybe you need a drastic go 4-2-3-1, change everything. I just think, if you could switch the midfielders around, maybe play Ginny in the 6, because I don't think Ginny's that bad in the 6. Some people will call me mad, but I think he could do a job there, especially when, again, you're playing against deep blocks who they'll give us possession, like Man United did the other day. They gave us the possession in their half, and they just wanted to counter us. So, let's try and utilise it a bit more. I want to see Thiago further up the pitch. Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I mean, I quite enjoyed the fact that he's a bit of a needly bastard, and he loves a little late tackle. I quite enjoy that side of the game. But equally, that's not why we bought him. That's not what he's here for. We've seen the type of passes he can thread and what he's capable of. I've noticed as well that you're onto this one. It's weird, isn't it, that in a very short space of time, given all the time he missed because of that tackle in the derby, Thiago, it seems, is being written off everywhere already. And it's like, hang on, he's been here 5 minutes. We're not in a good run of form. We're still finding our way with him in the side. The idea that he's, Juan Sebastian Veron all of a sudden, it's a bit mad, isn't it? I mean, that is the internet, I suppose, but
yeah, it's rubbish, isn't it? I think the guy's won, was it 8 league titles at the last 9 years, or 9 out of the last 10 years? He's quality footballer. Seen it throughout his career. Only slight on him has maybe been his injury record. He's picked up some big injuries in his career, which has probably held him back from reaching that top level sooner than he did. But he's still a quality footballer, and I think that people writing him off now, rivals on Twitter, it's because they know how good he can be. Some of the things I've seen, even from our own ex-legends as pundits now, saying some things about him that they've not said about other midfielders there's similar descriptions. So I'm like, come on. If we're not scoring, it's not because of the holding midfielder. Give him a break.
There's also, isn't there, I said at the start about sort of people feeling differently about Liverpool right now, and I totally understand that, we're not all the same and everything else, but equally though, not just in the immediacy of this little run of games we've got coming up, which admittedly does look difficult, but we've got a few things to look forward to here, haven't we? A few chinks of light. So Henderson, we still don't know whether he'll play on Thursday yet. There still seems a little bit of a doubt, but if he's in the side and you can get him into midfield, not centre half, that makes a big difference. Jota coming back, another big difference. Thiago settling in, big difference. And I'm still praying to the transfer gods that we do find a centre half. I mean, the back to the Jonathan Liu thing of, are you cheerful, are you happy, are you enjoying it? There's loads of little things that can turn the other way. It feels a lot of factors have gone against Liverpool. With half the season to go, there's still factors that can go back the other way and take us back up the league, isn't there?
Yeah, I think even you just mentioned that if you sign a centre back, you just imagine the boost in the dressing room if you bring in a decent centre back. Again, I keep mentioning Militao just because it's the example top of my head, but he's a Brazilian guy, knows a couple of our players already. You bring him in, that's going to lift everyone in the camp. And Thiago and Jota were those signings not so long ago, but then they hit the big injury, so they're out. On top of that, Van Dijk's out, Gomez is out. It's going to take a toll on this squad and how much they can deal with it as well. Like, I look at the last two games and Alisson and Fabinho maybe make the costly mistakes, which is even, I think, harsh because they're still some of our most consistent players, and they must be feeling a bit tired as well. Like, I was going to say poor Fabinho, but he's essentially sacrificed his position this season for the team, and he's played every game or near enough since he came back after the Ajax injury. So he must be feeling a little bit as well. Like, we're trying everything and we're still just conceding. Like, what else can I do? And you just need something. You need that boost. It will come. I don't know when, but it will come. And I've got no doubt that if anyone can turn this camp around, it's Klopp. And
yeah, absolutely. With Fabinho as well, it's almost a shame, isn't it? Like, yes, he's doing a great job, and one take on it, on this whole situation that I absolutely hate that I've started to see here and there is, hey, he's so good in defence. Maybe we just buy another midfielder. Like that one makes me scream because he's brilliant in midfield. He's, he can get forward. He's got a shot on him. He's capable of being a creator as well as a destroyer. And we're missing all that side of his game, aren't we? It's not just the fact that he can put his foot in. I mean, a lot of people rightly, I thought, said, the challenge, whether you think it's a free kick or not, even attempting to put a challenge in where he does is a little bit naive. But if it's in the middle of the park, no one's asked. It's because it's on the edge of the box. And it's almost like, if you put that to him, he would surely be like, I'm not a centre-half though, do you know what I mean? And it's such a shame what we're missing, isn't it, from Fabinho?
Yeah, holding midfielders get away with those types of tackles 5-6 times a game. So, of course, he's not going to be used to that. And I saw someone mention as well, so we miss Van Dijk going forward as well because of his, quarterback passes as they're called. But equally, Fabinho, having that presence in midfield means you can push the midfield up 5 minutes in and, press a little bit higher than we do. At the moment, I feel as though the midfield is just disjointed. I don't want to say non-existent because that's not really true, but just disjointed.
What do you think of Spurs then? Because we can talk about us and how we're a little bit mad and our results have been a bit mad, obviously. I was looking at Spurs and I sort of don't know what to make of them as well. I mean, they've obviously got good players. Son and Kane have caused everyone problems at the back. But then if you look at the season as a whole, Spurs, so 3 Premier League defeats to Everton, to us and to Leicester. 6 draws, though, which are proven quite costly for them. Same as for us with the draws. But, their draws are to Newcastle at home, West Ham at home, Chelsea away, Crystal Palace away, Wolves away and Fulham at home most recently. But then they also beat Man City and battered Man United. So it's a bit like, I have no idea what to expect from them. And even their recent results, their last few games, I just wonder whether they maybe, I might be clutching at straws, but could they possibly be a little bit undercooked for this one? The reason I say that is they obviously played Wickham in the Cup, okay, much changed side, but then they had to bring some of the big guns off the bench. But Sheffield United before that, not the toughest game in the world. Draw with Fulham at home. Marine before that in the FA Cup. And then Brentford before that. It feels like they've had a bit of a gap, a bit of a break from a really big game. Whereas we're coming into this one from Man United. And I don't know, I might be stretching here, but I'm kind of think we might be more ready for it.
No, it's a good point. I didn't even think about their recent fixtures in that type of way. I think that with Tottenham, for me, it's Mourinho factor. That's what it is. I'm 21, so I've grown up with Mourinho basically ruining Mourinho, Alex Ferguson ruining my childhood, essentially. So I will always have that, small thing in the back of my head, like, oh, it's Mourinho. He's going to do something. He's going to, park the bus if you want, and he'll nick a goal. Aspas will come on and somehow take a corner. It'll just be awful. So yeah, like that's my only thing. But like you said, that's a good point. Hopefully the goals that we got against United give the front three a little bit more confidence. I want to see a bit more from Mane. I think last few games he's been a little bit off it. For me, the thing I noticed with him is, again, it's just my opinion, but if he's not up for it 100%, then he's off it. But every other time, Mane, if he's on it, he's on it because he's always on it. But when he's off, he's just, I don't know, I feel like he's not in the game the same way. Firmino got a couple of assists as well. Hopefully, that sharpens him up as well. We just need that. We need them to start being ruthless again. I think the last, ever since sort of 2017-18, the front three have got away with being just a little bit sloppy, not major because they've still got, 2 golden boots in there, but because the defence has been so solid. But now we need them back. We need them firing because if we're conceding, we need them scoring. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think that's the takeaway, isn't it, from Old Trafford in terms of positivity and that, the goals were good goals and the goals were instinctive goals, and it was sort of, you watch them and you were out your seat because you were like, that's the Bobby I know, that's the Mo I know. And even the dink over the keeper and the way he takes that, that's the Mo that we know and love from earlier on in the season.
On the right foot as well.
So it's sort of like, I think that's the big beacon of hope, isn't it, about this game, that they're on it, and with Matip coming back as well. I'm starting to feel glass half full here in this conversation already.
Well, I watched one of your talking reds last week before the United game and ended up feeling quite glass half full into your goals. And now I'm like, no, pedal back.
Nah, let's keep it up. Let's keep the positivity going. It's only Spurs. Tell us about your podcast a little bit then before we go, because I had a little go of it. I had a go of Gold Diggers. It was a good laugh, to be honest with you. I was particularly amused by someone whose sound made them sound like the devil every time they tried to join the conversation.
Yeah, I was a bit mad that day. Yeah.
Well, how long's that been going, and how often do you do that one?
So that's been, I think, just over maybe like a year and a half now. So the 2 co-founders, Anita and Bree, set up a podcast for a group of ladies to come together and talk about football. So we're currently trying to do 2 episodes a week, which is, I think, is quite good. We do a Sunday episode and a Thursday episode, for the Europa League girls. I try to dodge that one. To be fair, we're all ethnic minority girls as well, which is an important point I like to mention, because we're creating a space that's real positive space. Don't get me wrong, we get the haters every now and again, like,
of course you do. Welcome to the internet.
Exactly. But no, we get so many positive comments that really do mean a lot, and we're just trying to pave a way for someone. I'm 21 myself, trying to, I don't know, go into the world of sports media, maybe, who knows. And yeah, we're just trying to do things, be different, and create content.
Good on you, and you're there on YouTube and
that's it, yeah.
iTunes and all that kind of stuff.
All of that, yeah. YouTube's the main one at the moment because obviously we're all virtual online, so it works well for us. But yeah, check us out, Gold Diggers podcast. Goal Diggers, not Gold Diggers.
Goal as in score a goal, as in what we want Liverpool to do when they go and play Spurs. Thanks very much for joining us today. Enjoyed the chat. I'm actually feeling positive about this one now. I hope everyone watching is too. Let's try and get that across to our players as well, because one thing I did want to say before we go is, can we all stop being bellends towards our own players, please? Because Reece Williams, once more, is another player who's having to deal with stick, and I've got to say, I don't get it. If you do that, you're not a supporter, you're not a fan, you're a tit. That has been Talking Reds.